Hi, I'm Leon Lovelace, and this is Unstoppable Force. Okay, I'm going to do another voting rights suppression story, and this one's just for Wisconsin, because 3 states had very effective ways for restricting voting rights, and I need to talk about Wisconsin specifically. Okay, Republican Governor Scott Walker signed Wisconsin's strict voter ID law in 2011 and had been tied up in court battles for years. A federal court held that the law unconstitutionally burdens low-income people of color, but ultimately the Supreme Court allowed it to go into effect for the 2016 election. In one of the many trials concerning the law, former government officials testified that behind closed doors, Republicans pushing for the voter ID were politically frothing at the mouth over the prospects that it would make it more difficult for people to cast ballots for Democrats. Donald Trump won the state by fewer than 30,000 votes. According to the state's own records, 10 times that mean eligible voters in the state. As many as 300,000 people lacked the proper ID and may have been disenfranchised. Neil Albrecht, the executive director of Milwaukee's Election Commission, believes the policy depressed turnout in the blue counties Clinton desperately needed to carry Wisconsin. Compared to 2012, 60,000 fewer people voted in this year Milwaukee. Or voted in Milwaukee this year. It's written incorrectly. That county that holds the vast majority of the state's black population. Statewide, turnout was the lowest it had been for a presidential election in 2 decades. Albrecht said his office received a flood of calls from voters in the city's poorest districts who said they were unable to cast a ballot because they lacked the proper identification. According to new data released by the state, nearly 600 ballots will be thrown away because voters did not have the right ID. Albrecht said he worries many more did not even attempt to vote because of the law. In the final weeks leading up to the election, voting rights groups discovered that Wisconsin officials at local DMV offices were giving false information to voters attempting to get the proper ID, putting those officials in violation of a federal court order. University of Wisconsin launched an investigation this week to just how much the voter ID law reduced turnout in the state, and it plans to report the results later this year. So this is specific to Wisconsin, but if you live in Wisconsin, you know someone that lives in Wisconsin, you got to tell them they got to vote all these Republicans out. They're just racially trying to dismantle their political power, and they're doing that because they want to crush black people. That's the only reason why they want to take their voting rights away. Because they say, I'm not going to even attempt to think of any or create any policies to help people, black people, poor people, but I'm going to crush them. So I'm going to make sure they can't vote me out of office so I can crush their souls. So we got to get their asses out. They're just racially trying to just be destructive to black people and brown people, and that is definitely what we need to fight against. That shit needs to go.